that. So without further ado, I want to bring around to my table, which is actually her table. Yeah, tonight.
Yes.
World team member, Bali qualifier, Nadia Cobb. Yay!
Hey!
Come on, Nadia.
I presume you're all applauding me. Hey!
Yes, you are.
This is interesting, having presenting a Zoom or a live or something with Rob and Christy staring at me, intimidated. Okay, got the pick. All right, cool. So I was really excited to be asked to do tonight's section because I think customer follow-up is something that I just totally love. I think because I came in as a retail client and obviously felt great and fell into the business that way. And I've built a business, and now I say I because it was just me at the start. So I, in the beginning, built my business by just helping people feel great, but not actually wanting to do the business. So yeah, I just love helping people feel as good as I feel every single day, and it's pretty cool that that's actually just my job, is not making sales but helping people be healthier and happier. So I think it's a real privilege to be able to work with people. Hey guys, I can see a few of our new coaches popped on. Hey Ree. Okay, all right, so we're going to get straight into it. So just following on a couple of things from what Christy said before. A couple of things about follow-up. Number one, follow-up and giving someone a good setup is not just a female thing. It's not just for the women distributors to do. It's actually for everybody to do, okay? Because it doesn't matter how many people you have in your team, if they all don't know how to use the products themselves to feel great and to teach other people how to use the products themselves to feel great, then you're going to have a whole bunch of members doing no volume, which is just, that's not any way to build your business. It's not going to grow and develop into anything, and you're not going to duplicate anything. So it's really important that you know how to look after a customer. So tonight I'm going to share with you guys how I do my follow-up. So the good thing about Herbalife is that you get to do things whichever way you want. So you might like what I do and you might not like what I do. So take what you want and leave the rest. But one thing that I realize more and more as time goes on is that obviously what we're doing is working, because, you know, if we're able to, we've done 5,000 volume points a month since Herbalife Vacations qualification started last year. So when was that? I'm looking at Christy, August last year. So, you know, we started a plan, obviously we're doing activity, but the reason we're able to continuously do that type of volume is because people are ordering products. So I'm not buying 5,000 volume points worth of products every single month, or it's 5,000 to 8,000 volume points every month actually. So that's because people are consuming the products, and the only reason why they're consuming the products is because I've set them up properly. And I think we're having a little bit of trouble with the broadcast.
Yeah, it's on my phone, but somebody is saying it... Let's play again. Yeah, it's working on my phone.
Yeah, so lots of people's are working, guys, so it could be a little bit of just your own Wi-Fi, because some people are coming through nice and clear, so sorry if you're getting a bit of that, but just bear with whatever your internet is like. So yeah, so that, you know, our volume points are made up of people that are consuming the products, and they're only consuming the products consistently, ongoingly every month, because they've been set up correctly and in a way that's going to get them the best results. So, basically, most of our follow-up and setup, our setup call is done over the phone. That's just kind of how ours has worked out. Most of it is conversations. People that live in the area will come in for a body scan and we'll do the setup in person. But for most of our people, they live further away or whatever, just for whatever reason, interstate, overseas. So a lot of ours is done over the phone, okay? So first of all, when I organise a setup call with someone, I make sure they know it's going to take 45 minutes, and I let them know that we're going to do a goal setting, we're going to do their full setup so they know what they're doing every day, and we're also going to do it like a over-the-phone wellness evaluation. So I let them know how much time that is going to take. So I think at the start, a lot of coaches feel like they are going to take too much of the client's time, or don't want them to feel like they're on the phone too long. But actually, how I feel about follow-up is that the better you set them up at the start, the quicker your other phone calls are going to be when you're doing your follow-ups, whether they're message or phone calls or whatever. So I take the approach of set them up as best you possibly can, because after that it can be like a 2-minute conversation of, hey, how you going, how you feeling, chat to you next week. It can be really, really quick like that because they already know what they're doing. So I like to give everyone lots of time and energy at the start, and then afterwards it's easier for me and it's easier for them as well. And also another thing is that the setup that I do for a trial pack is exactly the same as the setup that I do for a person on a full program. So I kind of feel like it's not like, oh, I've got 3 days, I didn't make money off that person, so I'm just going to kind of show them a little bit of how to do this and then I'll set them up properly with a program. Well, I take the approach of set them up properly for a trial pack and do exactly what I'm about to do with you guys now. And then, of course, they're gonna feel great. They're going to get a great result. They're going to love the customer support that they get from me. And then when they actually get on a program, I just say, okay, cool, and this is what you do with the extra products, and the setup's already done anyway. Okay? All right, so when I get on the phone with my client, I tell them to get all their stuff in front of them. We don't do their setup unless they have their stuff in front of them. So I let them know that beforehand as well. And also a setup call, I've always pre-arranged a time. I've got 2 kids, busy mum. I know I don't have another job other than Herbalife, but I'm busy all the time. So I don't have time to miss people's calls all the time. So we lock in a time, and I just have real integrity with that because I expect people to be on time for me. So I just make sure that I'm on time for them. So what they've got in front of them is an envelope with some bits and bobs in it that I've sent them, which I will run through what's in there in a sec. Because it doesn't come in a starter kit, I do like to give them the sports product brochure if you've got some of those, just because it gives a bit more detail, and also the starter kit. So if I've sent them their program, they usually get their pack and they get their starter kit, and then I just post this separately in the mail. With the starter kit, this is to make their life easier, and it's to make my life easier as well. So yes, it is $15, and yes, I do take that out of my program profit, but that's because if they don't have a tape measure, trust me, 9 times out of 10, they don't go to Coles and they don't get a tape measure. And then that week where they didn't lose kilos and they think they haven't lost weight, but actually they've lost centimeters and their whole body is reshaping, you're going to have no idea that that's happening, and they think that they're not getting a great result when they are. So these things are important to help you, and also to help them, and to help them make their life easier. Powder container, spoon, tablet box, and everything like that. Okay. Okay, so I tell them to have all that stuff in front of them, and then what I do first, I've just put together, which is on Live Your Dreams actually, a client wellness profile, or a customer profile, I might have called it. And this is just my personal tracking for my clients. At the start I could remember everything when it was just a few clients, and now that we have, I don't know how many, like over 100 members plus all the clients, I can't remember everything. So this is it's just something I put together, just their contact details, just a little checklist of what I've sent them, being the starter kit, the welcome pack, or whatever. There's a goals section here, and basically I just take notes and stuff, and just some spare paper at the back. So just everything's all together, okay? So when we get on the phone, they've got their stuff in front of them. I tell them to put that to the side for a sec, and I let them know that first of all, we're going to do your wellness evaluation. Then we're going to go over some goal setting, and then we're going to finish up with exactly what you're going to do when you get started tomorrow. So set them up for the call so they know what you're covering. In regards to the wellness evaluation, basically there's obviously different versions of this, and I don't think it really matters. You just want to get an idea of what their current lifestyle is like. So I just go through, I'm not going to do it now, but I go through a whole list of questions, which has just got, it's basically what their daily routine is like. What do they do for brekkie? What do they have for their snack? How much water do they have? Any health issues or intolerances? Are they on any other products? Is a really good one, because when they run out, they're going to try some herby stuff. So just asking lots of different questions like that. And also, I love the question at the bottom that says, what do you know gets you off track when you're trying to change your patterns and change your lifestyle? A lot of it is motivation, boredom with taste, and accountability. So I love to fill in the questionnaire, and at the end then I'll say, like, that's really awesome because, and I talk about the benefits of, eating all different foods, and they still get to eat a lot, they're nice and full, they get the support from me. So whatever their concern was, or what they know gets them off track normally, obviously I'm able to say, well, that's great because that's exactly what we offer. Okay, cool. So that's what I do for the wellness evaluation, fill in all the bits and pieces. And this is where you really understand why their physical appearance or how they're feeling as well on the inside is where it is, I guess. And you get to see the different types of changes they're going to be making. Then we run over their goals. So I make everyone give me 5 goals, because it's not, at the start it is about weight loss for pretty much most people, I would say. But you want 5 goals because you want to know what else they want, because they're not going to be on weight loss forever. So I try and let them rattle off a few, and then I help them out a little bit, because I can kind of already know a couple by what their daily habits looks like when they talk about how much coffee they drink, how many Red Bulls they drink or whatever. Like, I know they're already lacking in energy and that type of stuff. So types of goals is weight loss, wanting to look amazing for, I don't know, their daughter's wedding, increase in energy, ask them what their skin is like. On the other page, if they mentioned that they had intolerances or asthma or anything like that, I'm like, oh, okay, great. Is that something that you're wanting to work with? Like, would you like to be able to, you know, drink cow's milk if that's something that reacts? Because they might actually want to, you know, find a way to maybe be able to tolerate some stuff better. So, you know, help them come up with 5 really strong goals and goal dates, so you know when they want those goals. Okay. All right. So what else? So we've done their wellness evaluation, we've done their goal setting, and then I tell them, okay, cool. So if you can just grab out the white envelope that I sent you, and I'm going to show you guys, actually I'll just run through it, and then I'm going to point out, I'm going to tell you what I say to them, and then I'm going to tell you why I do those things, okay? So first of all, whatever you give anyone in any envelope, once they've got their products in front of their face, they will not read the books unless you get, I don't know, 1 in 10 that is not me, by the way. I read my workbook once I decided to be a coach, which was about 6 months after I got on the products, because I had my tabs, I had my shake, you know, Dana told me what to do, so I just took the stuff, you know. So what I like to do is help people have other resources that aren't just me answering their questions all the time, okay? So this is what we're going to do. All right, so they've got a pile of stuff. So first of all, I tell them to get out their last page. I do put everything in the same order every time. And this is their Herbalife wholesale price list. This is the only price list that I use. It just saves any confusion. It includes all of the postage and handling and everything. So what I do is I actually say, okay, great. So it looks like lots of writing, so don't worry about that for now. Everything that, so you've paid full retail, so just have a look at the retail column, which I've circled for them. You've paid full retail for your first order, which everybody always does. So like I said at the start, you know, when you bought the program, you get a 30-day money back guarantee, and that includes all your setup and, you know, everything that you get from me as well. So if anyone ever asks you about pricing or products or anything, number one, you can just pop them in a 3-way message on Facebook with me, and I can handle all of that for you. Or if any of your mates or your best friends want to know some actual prices, just really make sure you give them that full retail, because that's what I'm going to say to them when they, you know, order a program through me or whatever. So just keep that in mind. And also, like I explained right at the start, when you're ready to do your second order, I'll show you how to become a VIP member. So I just like to write up the top, pretty much $81 to become a VIP, and what it gives you is 25% discount off your products, or minimum 25%. You get your own online ordering account, and you also get a free tub of shakes, so that's pretty sweet. And I say to them, I've also circled for you the different discount levels. So when you become a member, you definitely get your 25% off, but I can also show you how to get, you know, 25 to 50% off. So if you've got for example, you've got a few people wanting to get started with you, then you'll pretty much be at 35% in no time. So just keep that in mind for next time, and I'll remind you when it's time to reorder what your options are as well. So that's what I do with that, okay? And I think that's really important, so they know. Otherwise, they just look at all the pricing and they don't know what is going on. And also, when their mate says, how much is that? They generally say, well, I'm going to be a member next month and this is what I'm going to pay, and that's what you'll get to do. But that's actually not the case. So you just want to make sure they know what's going on, okay? And you want to expose them to the discounts. Like the amount of people that say, okay, great, well, I want to be at 50, so what do I do to do that? You know, whereas if they don't even know they can get to 50, they're not going to ask you, all right? So pop that sheet down. All right, then I tell them, grab out the next sheet, which is your results tracker. Now, just because I do like Excel a little bit, I did a bigger one because I wanted to add in lots of lines so they understood this was long-term. This wasn't just short term. And this is what I get them to take a photo of and send to me at every tracking day, okay? So all it's got on there is all the measurements, all the days, and it's also got time to reorder after day 21, so after week 3, week 7, week 11, so they understand they need to reorder, they need to budget, they need to plan. They need to budget and they need to plan, okay? So this is just really setting people up for success. The amount of people that get to week 4 and go, ran out of products, oh, and then they got to save again, because for some people it didn't occur, oh geez, I need to put some money aside. Then before you know it, they've got to save for another week. Then it takes, you know, a few days, then you have a weekend, 2 weeks of no products. So you want to make sure they understand what's happening, okay? Also, what I say to them about this is every day that's written on here, which we do day 1, day 3, day 7, and then once a week until you get to your goal, that's when we're going to chat. So, and just so you know, this is the only long call that we do. After that, depends how much you want a gas bag to me, but it'll take about 5 to 10 minutes. And it's just a rundown, see how you feel, see how your results are tracking, see if you need anything, see if anything needs tweaking and changing, but it's super quick, and we'll obviously do it at a time that suits you in regards to work and kids and whatevs. Okay? So I let them know this is when we chat. I personally don't say, I'll be really assertive about this because I know that this is what's going to have them get a great. Oh, we're back. Sorry, guys. That was my Wi-Fi. If someone said to me, I want to buy a program off you, but I do not want to speak to you and I do not want you to set me up or anything, just say, I would say no thanks, because I do not want anyone, I feel very protective about Herbalife. So I don't want anyone buying a Herbalife program and getting constipated because they blended it with milk, and then saying Herbalife gave me some kind of allergic reaction, and that's how they communicate about Herbalife in the marketplace. And I don't want them saying, I bought a program off Nadia, and actually it was rubbish and I, got diarrhea and I'll never try that again, but I'm glad I tried it, whatever. So, I want to set people up properly. So if someone said that to me, I would say, if I'm going to sell you a program, I need you to agree to let me set you up in the correct way, at least for the first week. And if you really never want to speak to me again, then that's fine. But they will, because they love it. They love being helped to get to their goals, But that is what I would say to them, that let me teach you how to use the program properly so you're not wasting your money. Otherwise, who knows what's going to happen, okay? All right, so that's what I do with that. Put that sheet aside, done. All right, so the second last sheet that I go through is the client workbook. So sorry, I just changed it. So my personal workbook. So it's exactly the same as what's on Live Your Dreams. Now, what I do say to them, because I know a lot of people don't read everything in here, but I do want them to definitely read a few of the pages because they're very important, okay? So I say, look, have a look through that in your own time if you haven't already. There's different recipes and stuff like that. You can use Ultimate Nutrition for that, but just so you've got some ones written down, you can have a look. But it's super important that you read the few pages at the back, which I've tagged. I've tagged the corners. So the first one is why water is important. You're only drinking 2 glasses a day, and we're going to be increasing that by quite a bit, and I want you to understand why it's important that we do that. Number 2 is it's going to explain a little bit about cellular nutrition. So you may have already seen that on Ultimate Nutrition, but it's actually a really easy read, and just want you to understand what the products you're taking are actually doing to your body. And then the last thing, which is really important as well, is what to expect when you change your diet. So basically detox is just when all the good stuff's coming in or the bad stuff wants to come out, and that'll come out in all different types of ways, and it's different for everybody. So have a read of that so you know what to expect. And also I'm going to, when I touch base with you, I'm going to, double check that, see how you're feeling. And if you don't notice a detox, that doesn't mean that your body, the products aren't working for your body either. It just means that your body just chose to let go of the yucky stuff quite quick and quite freely. And for other people, they just want to hold on to it a bit. So can you have a read of those few pages before we chat tomorrow night? And then they say yes. Okay. Now, if I don't do that with the last few pages, pretty much they never read the book, I find, unless you got someone that loves, reading up on things. But when I say it like that, I find they do flick through. They understand it's important that they know that. All right. Okay. And then the last one is we just did up like a daily plan, which basically just says brekkie, snack, lunch, snack, and dinner. and it just tells them how many tabs to take. You don't have to do that. I just like it. You can use a brochure or whatever, but I just like to have it so they can stick it on their fridge. So then when we finish off, I just run through what they're going to do, okay? So, and we all know what to do, 3, 2, 1, just cut back. But I just kind of lay it out for them a little bit. And what I like to do here is if someone says, you know, when I do their wellness evaluation, oh, I really love porridge, then, you know, when I run them through it, I say, okay, cool, like you might just want to mix it with your porridge for your first day if you already love porridge. So I can kind of incorporate their habits into their daily plan. But it takes like pretty much the first part of what I covered already tonight takes longer, and then running through the envelope and say the daily plan like takes 2 seconds really. It really doesn't take very long at all. And then what I do is basically that's it. That's the end of the setup, yeah? And then all I do is organise a time and I chat at the end of their first day. So I'm pretty diligent in that first week. Like after that, we can chat during the day or whatever, but I try really hard to chat at the end of their first, the evening, sorry. So day 1, day 3, day 7 at night time. I don't really want to ring someone and they're like, oh, I just had my shake this morning. How do you feel? Yeah, fine. I want to know what they did for the day. And when I do the follow-up, for the first week, I do say, okay, cool, let's run through it. What'd you do for brekkie? I had a shake. Okay, awesome. What did you blend with it? Oh, some almond milk. Okay, great. Any fruit? Like I get all the details. I want to make sure that they're getting, I want to make sure that something doesn't take a month to sort out. I want to make sure that gets done in the first week, right? So my aim is that at the end of day 7, so we've done a setup, a day 1, a day 3, and a day 7 call. My aim is that they totally know what they're doing. And after that, it's just me giving them different ideas for shape flavors and stuff, and basically moral support of like support they can achieve their goals. And, you know, just making sure they're on track with their ordering and everything like that, okay? So what you're doing is teaching them how to be a really strong customer, okay? So basically all of my follow-ups are pretty much the same. On day 1, I always do the whole rundown, and kind of day 3 as well. When you get that occasional person that just gets it, they're like, yep, this is what I did every day. You know exactly what they're doing and they're really fine. Then after that, on day 7, I might just be like, hey, how you going? How you feeling? What are you doing? You know, what shake did you have today? Just keep it really simple. But at the start, I'd be specific, because when you say, how did you go today? Did you follow your plan? Did you get your shakes in? Your answers will be, yeah, pretty good. Yeah, pretty much. Like pretty much could mean anything. That could mean I didn't drink water, didn't take any tabs, you know, I didn't have a snack, so I wasn't hungry. It could mean anything. So be really clear on what they're doing so they understand and so that they're learning. Just having a look at the time, 8:04. Yeah, all good. Okay, sweet. Let me just look at my notes. Okay, cool. So I'm going to come back to, I might save how to troubleshoot a few things at the end, because I'd love to try and play around to doing a bit of a Q&A. So I'm going to come back to troubleshooting. I'll go a bit backwards here. So the other reason why I take so much care with a new client is because my intention, or I want to be prepared for, that every single person may be a coach. And I don't want to have to then teach them what to do with a client. So I set someone up so they know exactly what they do. They know exactly what they need to do for themselves to, number 1, get a great result. Because if they don't, they're not going to talk to anyone about feeling rubbish and not losing weight, right? So I want to make sure that they're feeling great, they're smashing the products, they know how to do it. And I want to be able to say to someone when they say, oh, my mate wants to get on some products, they can either, you know, send them through to me, or I can say, okay, great, did you want to have a go of setting them up the way that I did with you, and we can do a 3-way and we can run through it all together. And I want them to know what I did with them. And then when I'm teaching them how to be a coach, it's more just a refresher on what I had taught that person, if that makes sense, okay? And remember as well that you're not always going to know who wants to be a coach. So you can't do one type of setup on the products for a coach and one type of setup on the products for a client, because I was a no to being a coach. So imagine if Dana just sent me a pack and said, yep, there you go, it's pretty easy to understand, which it is anyway. But imagine if she just did that and just didn't take any care with me and looking after me, because it was Herbalife as a whole that kind of got me into wanting to be a coach, like support and personal development and your friendships tips and how you feel and learning about the products and understanding what they were doing. And, you know, like it was all of that that had me change my mind, I guess. So number one, your intention is that they are going to be a coach and they're going to know how to be a good coach, okay? And also you want to, when people get clients, you want their clients to keep reordering. You don't want to have to, and you're going to have people, and it doesn't matter how good your follow-up is, you're still going to have people get, you know, lose 6 kilos in 4 weeks and be like, yeah, just really not happy with my results. You know, that it makes me giggle when that happens, because I don't know, that just sometimes that's just what happens, right? But you want to give everyone the best opportunity to feel great and also to reorder. You want people to consistently be reordering. Because that's what's, you know, that's what's best for them. And that's what, for you as a coach, that's what brings a strong business, you know. So I don't have to do setups like this, you know, 30 days of the month, you know. I do a bunch every month, and after that it's like a message catch up, or a you know, when I'm away, if it's a really strong client that knows what they're doing and they don't, you know, they don't need a lot, I'll be like, okay, cool, I'll catch up within a couple of weeks, I'm going to be away. But, you know, just make sure you give your customers what they need. So when I'm away, if someone needs a follow-up or it's a new client, then I do it. Go in the hotel room. Today, you know, she was out eating ice cream. It was taking ages, so I did a follow-up with my customer in Norway. Hey, Bron. So, you know, just do what you got to do, because, you know, they need your help and they need your support, okay? So in that setup, I feel like what you've exposed them to is, number one, the fact that you actually care about them and you're building rapport with them, because in amongst that has, you know, all different types of combos, and you're getting to know them, you know about their kids. My kids are screaming in the background. So you're like, you know, creating your relatedness with that person, and that's so important because Herbalife is a relationship business. Number two, I really communicate in a way where they're going to get their result. The only way they're not going to get their result is if they cheat and don't use the products properly, or they give up on themselves, you know. So just be really reaffirming for them that all you've got to do is blah, 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 and you 100% get to your goal. And that's what's so cool about Herbalife. Like, people need to hear that. So I think when you're speaking with conviction, they really get that, oh, I'm actually going to get my result, you know. And when people say to me, oh, look, I don't really know if Herbalife's going to work for me, I'm just going to give it a go, I'll be like, yeah, cool, like just give it a go, get your month's program. But the cool thing about Herbalife is that it works 100% of the time, as long as you use it the way it's designed and just follow the little tips and stuff that I give you on the way. So yeah, that's pretty cool, isn't it? You know, so just be really clear that they're going to get to their result. So also within that setup, you've set them up for reordering. They know that after day 21 they're going to reorder, like they know that, so you've set them up for that. Number two, number three, number four, whatever point, you've set them up for referring as well. So the first thing I covered was the price list, and also planted the seed for discount and planted the seed for getting people on the products with them. So you're planting a seed that this isn't, at the start it may just be about them and their result, but then, you know, sometimes until you say something to someone, they don't think of referring you. You know, and I know they say, I used to always hear, if you give amazing follow-up, you will get referrals. Well, I think I've always given amazing follow-up, and I never used to get referrals, and I know why. And it was because I just didn't ask, and I never mentioned it. Every now and then I'll be like, oh, if you know of anyone. But now I'm like, okay, cool. So this is what you do. If anybody asks you and you don't know what to say, then you just put them in a three-way with me. Like, I give them a call to action. Like, I let them know exactly what they're going to be doing. So I just handle it very differently and just a little bit more assertive, but still in a way that if they refer, they refer, and if they don't, and it's no problem. So yeah, so that's really important. And also the last thing is that I've exposed them to higher discounts already. Okay, so I haven't asked them if they want to do this or want to do that, but I've planted the seed of 25 to 50% discount, and all that means is getting people on the products with you. Okay, so that's all happened within like just your setup call. All right, which I think is pretty cool. Okay, so after you've set them up, they're feeling great. You know, our job as coaches is just to expose and involve and upgrade them, and, you know, getting them around some Herbalife people, whether it's online, whether it's in person, whether it's in a center, whether it's one of the client days, whatever it is, but just getting them around other people and helping them get people on the products with them, helping them get people on the challenges with them, because a person with a group of clients around them, Like, I know when I'm competing against my buddy, I'll use my program perfectly. I won't be eating ice cream or anything like that. If it's just me plodding along, I'm not in a challenge, no one's holding me accountable. You know, I take all my products all the time with my ice cream, with my red wine, with my blue cheese. So, like, when you've got people around you, it's more fun, number one, 100%. And number two, you just use your program better and more the way that it's designed to be used, I guess. So a couple of tips that I wanted to share just before we do some Q&A is, number one is to be 100% sure of yourself and the products. And, you know, I could lay down with my eyes shut on the other end of the phone and do a follow-up, and it wouldn't matter what the person said. I could handle everything now, and I know that. At the start, someone I knew really well was like just not using the products the way they were designed, and was having adult tanties down the phone to me and crying, but angry. And I got off the phone and was like, if this is what Herbalife is like, I'm never doing this. Like, I'll just use the products. I'm not talking to people if that's how people talk. And what I realized is that I just didn't know how to objection handle yet. And it was my first experience of someone being cranky with their own result, and they wanted, yeah, you know, they just had a different expectation of how they'd be able to use the program, which was kind of to not really use it. But, you know, regardless, I just didn't know how to handle it. So the more and more and more I set people up, because luckily, you know, I had Cobby reminding me of, it's okay, no problem, do the products work? Yes. Do you know how to teach someone how to use it? Yes. And Cobby reminded me that I just needed to get used to working with personalities. Okay, so some people might be cranky on the phone. Some people might just be like, oh my God, this is the best thing I have ever actually read. You're one of those at the moment. She's like, I cannot believe I didn't do this ages ago. You know, some people are just pumped. Other people are just like, you know, just really, you know, just one foot in front of the other, and just, you know, making slower changes into their lifestyle, but they're getting there. So you're just going to have such different experiences with everyone. So my top tip number two, so first of all, was 100% be sure of yourself and the products, and you've got to smash the products and work with your coach to feel amazing. It does not matter if you haven't lost weight. I lost 5 kilos. In the grand scheme of things, that is not a lot of weight, but you know, I have so many other different results to share about. So smash the products yourself so that you've got that belief. Number two is everything is no problem. So I used to think everything is no problem meant disregard what the person, like, it's kind of how it landed for me, like disregard what the person has said. Oh, like, I feel like I'm gonna vomit, no problem. I was like, you can't say that to somebody. But I realize now that everything is no problem. So it's like, okay, cool, no problem. Everybody handles the products and detoxing in a little bit of a different way. So, you know, if it's constipation and stuff and diarrhea, I double check what there's going into their shakes and stuff. But I say, okay, cool. So tell me what you've been doing. As long as their daily plan is okay and everything they're consuming is fine, then what I do is just refer them back to what I told them to read at the start, which sometimes they still haven't read. Okay, cool. So remember that page that I told you to read. It's fine if you haven't read it. You don't want to make them feel like rubbish, you know. So it's fine if you haven't read it, but did you read that page that says what to expect when changing your diet? No, I haven't read that. Or yes, I've read that. Okay, cool. So maybe just have another read of that, because that really explains what's happening in your body. And all that's happening is that the good stuff's coming in and the bad stuff wants to come out, and we just got to work through that process. So what we can do is, you know, extra tea, extra aloe, extra water, and just bear with that while it flushes out. Okay, so everything really is no problem. And I reckon after about 30 people, maybe 20 to 30 people, maybe 30, you pretty much would have had everything like thrown at you that you would need to handle. And the answer to it always is, okay, cool, everything, you know, is no problem. If there's anything that you're like, oh, I haven't heard that before, my number one tip is to don't say to the client, really? I've never heard that before. You what? Oh, you know, because the client's going to be like, oh my God, what's happening? So everything is fine. And if you're not clear, we'll give your coach a call and be like, okay, cool. So I've had people be constipated before, but this person is really bloated. Like, she told me her tummy looks pregnant. Like, it's that bloated. So I'll be like, okay, cool. Maybe check how much fiber they're having. Maybe reduce that a little bit. Other than that, it's probably just detox, and just double check everything else is the same. Fine. Okay. So don't be scared to just ring your coach and be like, hey, this is what the person said. Is that normal? And if your coach doesn't know, they'll ring their coach and be like, hey, I just want to double check. Like, is this okay? All right. So, yeah, everything is no problem, and everything can be worked through. And the reason I'm able to say that, and it's really okay for my client, is because I already set them up at the start for their body's going to change. If you don't cover detox and don't tell them to read about the detox, when they get constipated, then everything you say will be like, oh no, that's okay. Oh no, that's okay. But I'm actually able to say, oh, remember when I explained to you, like before they got on the products, remember I explained to you that this might happen, blah, 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 blah. Okay, cool. That's all that's happening. All right. And yeah, and so my last tip, which I pretty much covered, was just to always ask your coach for help. So, you know, before I came to Herbalife, I'd been self-employed for 15 years. I've been in the gymnastics industry for 20 years. I pretty much knew the answers to any questions that I was asked. And so when people, you know, I think that's why I got so upset when I didn't know how to like answer or handle someone's objection or whatever, or their struggles. It wasn't an objection. I didn't know how to handle their struggles, is because it was new for me. And the reason I got upset and was crying was not because it was Herbalife. It was because I didn't know how to handle that personality at that time. And I just needed to strengthen myself in that area, which was, you know, developing my people skills, I guess. And understanding that someone being disappointed didn't mean anything about me as a coach or about Herbalife. It was just about what that person was dealing with. So, you know, I thought I had to know the answers to everything at the start. And then I realized that, you know, the term they say all the time, like you earn as you learn. It's so true. It's okay to say, hey, look, I'm just going to check with my coach and I'll get back to you in the next 24 hours. No problem. I've said that loads. Yeah. I said that this year. Let me just check with Candice and Dana and I'll just get back to you. I think it's this, but let me double check for you. You know, so it's okay. It's totally fine to say that. So I think that's all of my follow-up tips. Yeah, I'm looking at Christy. Anything you want to add in there?
No, the setting up tips. Yeah. Well,
what did I say?
Setting up makes for easy follow-up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so setting up, following up, and after, like I said before, after that, it's more like just moral support and reminding them of their goals, getting them around some Herbalife people, and just keeping that relationship going. All right? Okay, cool. I reckon we've got about 5 minutes.
Yeah. Can I just ask a question about the startup pack? So that's like a $15 investment. That's out of your first lot of retail profit, but when your clients keep ordering, it's all...
Yeah.
And again, it kills me when I see a client or somebody with a Herbalife product inside another brand of shaker. Like, how do you see that in terms of investment?
Yeah, I forgot to say that as well. So, you know, I've had lots of people say, oh, don't worry, I've got a protein shaker, which says blah, blah, blah on it, not Herbalife. So I want them to go to their gym with the Herbalife shaker, with the Herbalife shake in it, and go to work with the Herbalife shaker, and, you know, have everything branded. You want to be promoting your own business. So, so definitely an investment there. And like Christy said, I presume you guys could hear okay, but like Christy said, like I consider that a real investment, that $15, for loads of different reasons. So definitely recommend to do that. Okay.
I've got a question.
Oh, Christy's got a question for me. Oh, geez. What? Hi.
So, with some of your clients, do you have some clients who prefer to be followed up? Like you do your setup properly, that they prefer to be followed up through Messenger or SMS or something like that rather than a call, like maybe busy people. Do you still insist on at least a call once a week or an actual back and forth conversation?
I do, because I find that works for us, because I feel like you can answer a question in 2 seconds versus back and forwarding for 24 hours in trying to get all the details. If someone said to me, look, it really does not work for me, I can only message during the day because I'm at work, so I'm okay to message, but I can't do a call. Yeah, cool, no problems. Like if that's what's going to work for them once that initial setup is happening, then yeah, no problem. What I generally find when people get that it's like, hey, what you doing? They can do it on their lunch break, they can do it on the way to their work, or, you know, I've got a couple of clients where even though I offer weekly follow-up, they're like, you know what, I'm pretty sweet, can we just do a fortnightly catch-up? I'm like, yeah, cool. And we chat for 5 minutes a fortnight. So, so I definitely do it that way because I find that's just what's really simple for me and the guys. If someone wants to do it a different way, then that's totally fine as well. For overseas clients, depending on the client, like because we've got clients in South Africa, the UK and in Norway, I do my setups day 1, day 3, day 7 via Facebook call. I don't do a video. I find it's faster than when we're both looking at each other. I don't know, other people might enjoy the videos, but I find I can still get it done in 45 minutes when they're overseas. If we're on video, then it's more like over an hour, so I just want to watch time. So I'll still do setup day 1, day 3, day 7, and then overseas clients, we might do a message catch up, you know, for a couple of weeks, and then do a call, and then a message catch up, and then a call, or whatever, depending on what the client needs. If the client needs, you know, to hear my voice every week for 5 minutes, then I'm happy to do that. Yeah, cool. So work with your client and see what they want and see what they need. The only thing I don't do is right at the start. I personally don't offer my first week follow-up via message, because for me, I feel like it would take me ages. And I try and really hard to not be on the phone a lot when I'm with my kids and stuff. So that's just personal, and that's what works for me. So you just got to do whatever works for you and your guys.
And I think the sound of somebody's voice is a big indicator of what's actually going on. You need to hear it, don't you?
And when you've got a client that's constipated, and you get a I keep saying constipated, when you've got a client that's got a banging headache because they're detoxing, whatever, and they're messaging you, you're like, hey, how you going? They're going to be like, rubbish, I feel like blah, is this normal, blah, blah, blah. Whereas on the phone, I can be like, oh, okay, cool, no problem, blah, blah, blah. In saying that, I'm trying to get a bit high tech now, and I'm trying to use those voice messages. So for clients where we do send each other messages so that we can understand each other's tone, I will leave a little voice recording, and it's heaps faster. Number one, I'm all about time efficiency, and they can hear my voice. So I'll be like, okay, cool, no problem, this is how Cool. Okay, just cut out there. All right, sweet guys. So if you've got any questions regarding client setup, follow-up, objection handling, or anything like that, we've got a few minutes. If you just want to pop that in the comments section, and then I can answer a few. Oh, okay. Tracy Gillinder, the good stuff's coming in, so the bad stuff wants to come out. I find that's the nicest way. And actually, sorry, one other thing that I do say to people, I ask them about their bowel movements, but I do it in a funny way or a real casual way. So even with males I get from Cobby that I don't even know I'm on the phone with them, I'm like, okay, cool. So toilet, number 2, more, same, or less. And they'll say more, same, less, whatever. So I don't go into gory details, but you can still ask stuff to total strangers. It's fine. Okay. Yeah, a few people have messaged saying, can I share the setup sheet? So yeah, definitely. I'll repost those over the next day or so for you guys. Like I said, you don't need to use that. It's just what I like, and all the details are on the sheet. Okay, cool. What do you do for Herbalife 24 products, Greg? So I'm presuming you mean possibly how I set the person up. So if someone comes to us who most of our people are on shake and multi, you know, for weight loss. We do have quite a few that are on muscle gain at the moment. If someone says, look, I just want some protein, that's all I want, I'm not going to do a full setup with them, because they don't want to talk to me about their goals and everything like that. They just want to replace their existing protein with their new protein. I find most people are on more products, come to me for more products than just the Herbalife 24. So most of the time I find I still get to do a setup, and then I just explain to them to have their, you know, their rebuild post-workout and have their CR7 before working out and stuff like that. And it's the same if, you know, someone said to me, you know, my hairdresser's just on a multivitamin. That's it. So I'm not going to do a full setup with her. So sometimes there's going to be people like that. But where possible, you want to give them a free wellness evaluation, and people love that anyway. Hope that answers your question. Okay, cool. Tia, so when you find a struggle, how did you change it, or where did you learn? And which measures of books or videos that you click at that time?
I think she does. How did you learn to set up a client? Did you think about,
Yeah, okay, cool. So I just had been taught, so basically all the paperwork that I use, I think I put together the daily plan, and I wanted a big results tracker because I want them to be able to use it for ages. So I did up those. Everything else is just what's provided on Live Your Dreams. So the client or the personal workbook is on there. The wholesale price list, Chrissy Edis very kindly posts that every time it's updated. So that's all in the files section, and it's all used. All there for you to use. In regards to In regards to setting up a client, I'm an organized person in the way that I like to just have all my paperwork together, and I don't have a good enough memory to remember everything about every person. So I just decided one day I'm going to put together a piece of paper that's going to have my clients' details, goals, and their wellness evaluation, and a checklist of what I've covered in their setup, and a bit of paper that I've stapled to it and make some notes. So I just decided to put that together. So some people use like little cards in a box. I've seen people do that. Like there's all different ways that you learn. So you just got to find like what works for you. So I'll post mine in the group. If you like that, steal it. You can steal whatever you want from what I share on there. And what else did you write? In regards to struggles, Tia, maybe just comment again and I'll scroll down. Just let me know if you mean struggles with handling clients, or handling objections, or if you mean struggles just like personally in my business or whatever. So maybe just comment that down the bottom for me. All right. Where do you receive new clients from other than referrals? Lee Brambley. Okay, cool. So pretty much our whole business has been built on Use Wear Share or Use Wear Talk. Use the products. I was just like post on Facebook. Oh my God, another kilo down. Drank red wine and ate, this is Christy's favorite post. Drank red wine, ate blue cheese this week and still lost weight. Boom. So, and then my friends were like, what are you doing? I'll have some. So that's how my business got started. Cobby is awesome at Use Wear Talk as well. He's like Herbalife billboard, takes his shakers everywhere. Lots of his male friends used to tease him, but he looks great. He looks amazing. So now those people are getting on products. That's pretty awesome. Use Wear Talk, promoting our lifestyle on Facebook. So not just Herbalife crazy on Facebook, a little bit of Herbalife, mostly lifestyle, and keeping in really good contact with friends and family on Facebook and in like face-to-face, like text messages and whatever as well. But just relationship building is really important. If you don't have a relationship with people, they don't, generally want to, I don't know, if you've got good contact with people like, hey, so-and-so, thanks for liking my post. I appreciate the support. What's going on? Generally, they're going to, say, oh, you guys are looking great, or what are you doing, or what's this challenge, or whatever. Okay. All right. What else we got?
I've got a question. You guys do a lot of challenges.
Yeah.
The challenge, what you do in covering a challenge does not replace setup and follow-up.
No,
it just is it's an add-on, yeah?
So I call our challenge, so for me, this is how I relate to a daily method of operation as well. I like to do this a little bit separate, where your daily method of operation is the thing you do daily to generate a brand new inquiry. So for us, it's Facebook and Use Wear Talk, and I do contacts with our circle of influence. So just keeping those relationships going, yeah? Then you've got, so then that feeds into an inquiry and your new client. Then I do the setup that I just did and the follow-up that I talked about a little bit. And in amongst that, like a lot of our clients will also come from getting invited into the challenge, but that's like our event. So I use our challenge as like exactly the same as what I would use an in-person weight loss challenge. So I still do follow-up and everything like that. The challenges are awesome though, because for example, I said to someone today, okay, great. So next Wednesday when we'd normally chat, that's day one of the challenge. You'll be sending me your stats and all that, getting in amongst all the challenge, and you'll be nice and active on the group. So let's utilize that and let's catch up on the phone the next week. So it makes my follow-up easier, because they're in a support structure. So I've exposed them and I've involved them into something other than just me. Yeah?
Cool, love it.
All right, sweet. Okay, cool. Any more questions? A couple more minutes and then we're done? No? Must have done a good job then, yeah? Okay, one little scroll. Yeah, steal my sheets, steal my sheets, steal my sheets, steal my sheets. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. All right, so once again, I just wanted to finish off with, you want to create really strong product lovers, and you want to create coaches that pop out of that, and it's okay if they don't become a coach, okay? So, but coaches that pop out of that are going to be really strong coaches that know how to look after people, and that's what you're going to duplicate through your team. Okay, so whatever you're doing, your team, it kind of dilutes as it goes down a little bit. That's just what happens. So what you want to do is be really strong from the top so that it dilutes, it doesn't dilute so much. If I'm doing a really lazy follow-up, imagine what my coach is doing, and imagine what my coaches, well, there won't even be any other coaches probably. Okay, so it's really important to lead from the front and take care of your people. Do what works for you as well. Don't go changing anything you're doing to copy anybody else if you don't think it works for you. I just found what I liked and developed what I enjoy, and I did what works for us, and that might be a little bit different for you. I do know lots of people, like Christy said, love to do text message follow-up. Love it. They love it. So do that if that's what works for you after you've done that initial setup. So if that works for you, then totally just, do whatever you guys want to do, as long as the client's getting a really great result. Okay? Awesome. Okay, I think that's it. I don't know how to turn this off. Oh, yeah, finish. Okay, guys. Bye. All right, see you guys next week. See ya. Bye.